It's my honor to introduce Venerable Dhyani Ywahoo. Venerable speaks directly from her heart, offering pure wisdom teachings of direct insight and practical application in the tradition of Cherokee and Woodland View and Tibetan Buddhism. These are the mother and father streams that energize Venerable and are the foundation of all that she shares. Thank you so much for this offering today, Venerable.
Thank you and Molly for facilitating this opportunity to begin the year of the Dark Water Tiger with a meeting of all of us. May our time together reveal the natural wisdom that is you. May you be reminded that there is nowhere to go, there is just to be in your heart's natural awareness. And this year we are planning to work with the power of sound to transform some attitudes, to see them become compost for the wisdom potential within every situation to be revealed. And so it is a month, this month, and each month for the remaining part of the 2022. We will explore the power of sound as a tool of transformation and consider how the directions we face mirror the potentials that are within us, and that what looks like perhaps difficulty is also great opportunity. We've all come through 2 years of retreat. Many of us have stayed home and found our spiritual practice has been deeply enhanced by this opportunity of remaining at home. And this has also given an opportunity to choose, where do we want to go now? How do I choose to work with this arising wisdom for the rest of my life? Because many have found that it's not so important going somewhere as it is being fully present where you are. And so during this year, we will also look at the potentials arising of our skill sets. And we think that in the center, all is well, all is wisdom. From the space of Holy Mother, all appearances appear. And we look to the north and we see the codes of right relationship that assist us in manifesting our vision of good life, understanding that a good life is energized with the power of compassion for ourselves and others, and that there are patterns of right relationship, that is, speaking kindly and not spreading words of harm, speaking words that invite joy and wisdom in the ears and the hearts of those we meet. So we recognize more and more that we are co-creators in this dance of life. What does it mean, co-creator? Does it mean you're a god or a deity? No, it just means you are a human being who understands the power of your thought and voice, and that you're willing to make a choice to energize what is wisdom and life force enhancing. So the north wind is blowing here, and it's going to bring us some snow shortly. And the north wind also carries the messages of those who create clarity and order. So, in the stillness of the ice, the potential of our wisdom state is quietly reflecting the vastness of the sky. And we hear the voice of the buffalo woman who reminds us that there is a way we can nurture our families and our clans and return to the environment and each other what is wisdom and life force enhancing. So she shows us how our thought, carried by our throat center, reverberates in the field, and she also shows us like the star woman who spiraled down to earth, the ways in which we may accept and actualize the wisdom being that we are. Too often we see that awakened being is someone far away, coming from the heavens perhaps. And during this year, I invite you to recognize the wisdom being is a seed within your heart, resonating with the song of life and the pulse beat of earth and sky. And the words we think and the words we speak, they add to the field and seek to manifest. And so we have an incredible opportunity to cultivate our voices by first pacifying the anger that may have appeared, purifying the states of reaction that may arise, and recognizing that all that we aspire to, the seeds of which are within. So during the year, we're going to look at the power of sound. So perhaps you are annoyed with someone. Well, I can remember how old people would make a sound, ooh, ooh, when someone was saying something unkind, when someone was behaving in a way that was forgetting they were connected to all of us, and they would just say, ooh, ooh. And that sound of ooh is also the sound that transforms for each of us the passing thought forms of limitation. How wonderful it is. Ooh, we are generating the song of life. Ee. We see the way unfolding. We understand that yesterday and tomorrow happen right now. And in many indigenous languages, there is no past or future tense. We are relating in this moment to what is arising. And so as we are exploring the year together, I invite you to sing along with different musical keys, to play them on an instrument or just to listen to them. To listen to the scales, we'll begin with the scale of D, because it is said it is the midpoint of heaven and earth. And so some of us will be working with tuning forks. Others will work with whatever instrument they have. What is most important is that we acknowledge the power of our voice as also being a choice. So wherever we sit and whichever direction we are facing, we have the opportunity to see the medicine revealed. Often people think medicine is like to cure something. Also, we say medicine is the recognition of the realization of what is. And so, having been home for 2 years, not traveling, it has given me a deeper appreciation for the medicine of the trees that grow nearby and the medicine of the water that flows nearby. So what do the trees tell me? They tell me that we are living together, that we are part of a earth family, and the ways in which we care for the trees and the water and one another are reflected back to us in the environment and also in our health. So from the perspective of the old ones, our health is about good relationships with our family, our clan, and the environment. And so as we move through the year, we will cultivate our ear to hear the sound of the trees as they echo the deep call of the whales. You say, how is it the trees may echo the call of the whales? Indeed, the trees are antennae, and they are reverberating the song from deep below the sea, reminding us that we too, as we look to the east, are supported by the water, sweet waters of remembrance, and the whale song are reminding us to remain in touch with the gift of life, and to also understand we are not alone. That water actually began in deep space. And so as we listen to the sound of the whales, we also recognize the sound of space. And so as we are moving through the directions and examining water, we think of where it began in deep space, and we ourselves are spacious beings, not different from the stardust that has given rise to myriad realms. Stardust we are, the stardust becomes the basis of our earthly cloak, and the stardust is the key to our remembrance. So we're looking deeply within, recognizing that the breath is a conversation that goes on from beginningless time. And this conversation is based in a song of perfection. It is nowhere to go. The perfection is that seat of wisdom within. Does it mean that we are to change? It is more like it is reminding us to peel away the concepts of you and I, them and us. So the trees are watchers. Of course, they supply us with air, and they also convey the memories of those who have walked through the forest and what lessons have been learned. So the tree is also the wood element, our liver, the song of synthesis, the understanding that whatever we see and think about, that information can become actual joyful skill in our lives. And so the power of synthesis is understanding the many ways in which the universe is flowing through us and how we are indeed a family. A human family, an intergalactic family, an interdimensional family. So many people these days are recognizing that our intelligence is a field. It is not just our brain or just within ourselves. The intelligence of our mitochondria, remember the songs of galaxies arising, and also show us about the first agreement to work cooperatively. The single cell was then entered by the gift of the mitochondria as energy beings. Yes, together we are building. Mother wisdom, father skill, a dance in which we all participate. And so when you have the conception of being alone, when we observe our own breath, inhaling, exhaling, the wisdom of the trees, and recognizing that within each of our cells are actually mitochondria and other organelles who made an agreement that we will explore together. And so why talk about the mitochondria? Because they are powerhouses, and in many ways they are like the sacred fire. And the toxic thought and toxic environment have an impact on the health of the mitochondria. And so how can you contribute to the well-being of your body, mind, by being appreciative of what we receive, and also taking care with the water, with the liquids we drink, as much as possible to drink what is pure and what is basically alkaline. So as we are exploring the power of sound, we also see that even the trees and different plants have particular frequencies. And when we look at the system of 5 elements, we recognize that certain seasons we eat particular foods because those foods have a sound that supports the wisdom of the body-mind during each season. And so this to me is like an incredible fun exploration, looking at and chanting the sounds of the universe, recognizing the vitality of the food, which is enhanced when we make a prayer of appreciation. And also, this prayer of appreciation includes all those who've brought the food to us. Now, in the way we were taught, we see it's important to grow food. So wherever you are, you can sprout seeds. You can, in your kitchen, sprout seeds. Why? Because those seeds will have greater vitality and responsiveness to your body, mind's needs. And also, the process of sprouting food is a way in which we show appreciation and affirm that we are in this dance of co-creation mindfully, that we're choosing to energize joyful abundance, that people may have good food, and that we ourselves are generating good thought and growing this food. So this idea of sprouting, you can say it is the medicine of the earth. It is also the understanding of generosity. When we rinse the seeds off, we are thankful that they are growing, and we're thankful for the water that is rinsing them. And also we consider the seeds of wisdom within ourselves. And so during this moment of rinsing the seeds, we can also consider that which we want to accomplish in the day. So this morning, 3 times a day, actually best to rinse the seeds. Think of, okay, this day I will accomplish these things. And this day I will do these things for the benefit of family, clan, nation, land, all beings. And so I shall do, which means you and your family and all beings are included in this process of growing good cause. And in this way, we understand the importance of cultivating our thoughts, cultivating our speech. In stories that we were told about the wisdom of the South, there were 2 very large grandmothers who covered their faces, didn't let anyone see them, and they carried baskets of seeds, which they distributed to people. And a cheeky little boy said, "Boy, you have big feet for grandmothers. You have really big feet for grandmothers." And asked them to remove their facial covering so they could be seen. And what they saw were battle-scarred warriors. They had so many scars that they covered their faces so that they could put aside the demeanor of being a warrior, because they learned the importance of planting seeds of good cause. And they listened to the children's laughter and said, "Well, we've seen the sorrow of war and we wish to plant seeds of love, good care. So take some of these seeds and grow them." And so we still keep that cycle of prayer and that cycle of ceremonial sharing of seeds. And so in the winter time, winter new moon, some of the best seeds from the previous harvests are collected and they're prayed over and prayed, "Oh, how grateful we are. You gave so much to us. We will cherish you and we will share these seeds with others." Then during the new moon in March, we will begin the Friends Making New ceremony, where we say we are making apology for any error we may have caused, and we see the ways in which we wish to elevate our families, our clans. We want to nurture the light of wisdom that is within us all. And so then these seeds are distributed to people in the community who have gardens. And we all make a promise that we will return some of the best seeds to the source so that we are continually bringing forth what is wisdom and life force enhancing. And what we notice over time is that these natural seeds do change. They adapt to the needs of the people. For example, when we first moved to Vermont, the seeds we brought with us required 120 days of growing time. And in Vermont, the growing season, at least it was 90 days, maybe 92 days now. And so we adapted those seeds, amazing beans, amazing seeds that came from the south where we originated. And my cousin Amahaya and myself, by growing them first indoors, even corn, which they say can't be transplanted, even that we changed through our care and our prayer, and it could grow now. Those original seeds we came here with, the seeds of our ancestors, now can reach harvest in 90, 92 days. So we have the ability as human beings to transform what looks like limitation. And so as we consider the gardener, we consider what thoughts are we planting and how are we looking at the results. So the most successful gardeners are the ones who see the result before the seeds are even placed in the ground. There's the power of our inner vision, the power to see and invite with a prayerful song that wisdom, that abundance be realized so that many may eat. So we have this concept of the peace village, or some say the white village, the mother village. And each 7 years, and there's a new fire that we take away from there. And every year we come to the peace village and share our thoughts and the seeds of wisdom that have been acquired and the seeds that have flourished in our gardens. And we also speak about what the children are asking for, what dreams people have had, what we choose to energize. And we also ask each other for help. When we see that there is the appearance of illness, we ask people to think about the herbal remedies they know and where they grow, and to share that information. And this is based on the idea that wherever you live, there are 7 healing plants that will keep you well within walking distance of your home. And so the meeting every year at the Peace Village is a rejoining of the family, and the 7-year is a regeneration of the fire of wisdom in the communities and the clans. And there's also every 52 years where there is the fires are all placed cold, made cold, put out, and embers are kept, and then with prayerful preparation, new fires are begun from the spark of the old fire. And this reminds us of the continuity of our thought, word, and action, and also that we can repair what has been broken. So during the meetings at the sacred fire, people can restore their joy and also make apology where it is needed, and also apply the antidote to the poisons that have caused harm, whether they are poisons of thought, word, or deed. We can see those poisons transformed into skillful action. And it is with the power of sound and certain breathing exercises that we will explore through the year. Each, I think, is 3rd Tuesday of each month. We will explore the sounds of transmutation, understanding the healthy cells have a particular tone, and when the tone is lost, then the body's equanimity is disturbed. And so whatever is arising is an opportunity. And so rather than thinking, oh, sickness, sorrow, or confusion around, we say, oh, this is energy to be transformed. How shall we place this energy into the fire that the elixir of wisdom within all of us may be expressed? Oh, yes. Ooh, yes. Now is the time. Each moment we correct the thought as it appears. Seeing the idea of fear. What is the awakened state of that appearance of fear? It is understanding. The courage to be the loving beings that we are. So we're looking at the world as loving parents, that we're nurturing the seeds of good cause. And so whatever is arising, we know it as an opportunity. And so we have many spiritual practices, and during the Tuesday meetings, we are looking at the root of truth in our heart's natural awareness that you will recognize in whatever is your background. And then there are some of us who will see the essence of those roots and seeds in the practices they are doing, and others will, this sound has meaning. I recall that naturally my heart is pure. What does that mean, a pure heart? It means that in the space of natural awareness, all that we choose to be, all that we are, has arisen from this clear space. And we've put on the cloak of the human body to be explorers, and we promised that what we learned we would share again with the field. And so how do we share with the field what we've experienced? Through dedication, that our actions are beneficial, that whatever we uncover, may it also nurture the wisdom in everyone upon this earth and in all realms. So, like a pebble thrown in a pond, many ripples appear, and these ripples are the paths of our relationship. Relationship with what? Clear light, clear water, clear awareness. And why are we choosing now to recognize the power of our sound? Because the sound has become 5 streams feeding our organs and the robe of our human body. And so we will explore the power of our robe, the power of sound. What does it mean? Is it power over? No, it is power to be. It is power to recognize. It is power to know the wisdom beings that we are. So there were some people who could touch our cheek and you would feel amazingly well. Whatever was uncomfortable before, that elder touched your cheek was gone with the kindness of their glance and their touch. So we understand how we look at situations is energy. And so how we see appearances arising, it is wonderful to recognize it like bubbles arising in the curl of the wave. Still water and empty at the same time. So what are we? We are beings of luminous potential. How have we come here to Earth? We've come as explorers. And why are we explorers? Because we can. And what is our choice? Let our choice be to be loving and kind and wisdom enhancing. Let us be the ones who recognize all as luminous beings. Let us be the ones who understand the power of our thought, word, and action, can set causes into motion, and that our prayerful intention to transmute anger, to see it as skillful activity, becomes an opportunity for everyone. So whatever is arising is an opportunity when we dedicate ourselves to revealing the clear light wisdom that is within every situation. Human body, a precious gift. How wonderful it is. Having this gift of the human body is not so easy to attain. It's a miracle. And we are already part of a community. Each cell has within the beginning of community mitochondria and the cells make an agreement through magnetic attraction, and that magnetic attraction is really the energy of love and compassion. And so here we are, parents of tomorrow, because how we think, speak, and act are shaping tomorrow. And this is the best time to be here. This is the best time to be alive. So we see some of our elders shifting, leaving the earth, and that reminds us of the impermanence of the robe. What has gone away has still left its echo as memories in the field and lessons we've learned and things that we too carry on. So I salute the wisdom beings that you are, and I support that light being manifest in your activities. Light, dark, all arising from the field of natural wisdom. So I look forward to sharing this exploration with you, and I invite you to practice singing, to play the scales on whatever instrument you have, and to begin with the scale of D. And so I think this concludes the lecture part of our meeting, and I invite you to ask any questions about the coming year and how you may participate in this joint exploration, because we're scientists looking at the possibilities, and I'm asking that we record what we learn so that we see the ways in which ignorance releases joyful wisdom when we pacify aggression, purify the poisons of attachment, and dedicate our thought, speed, and action to illuminating the wisdom within every moment, every situation, and doing what needs doing. Yes.
Thank you so much, Venerable. Letting everyone know, if you have a question, you can use the raise hand button, which is found under the reactions button on the bottom bar. If you're on a computer, look under the more button. If you're on a tablet or a phone, you can also place a question in the chat. And Margarita has said, I am interested in the meaning of the dark water tiger year.
Yes. So dark water means that there are hidden mysteries beneath that water, and until it is illuminated with a mind of introspection and investigation, the potentials of the previous years, like the Neptunian and Pluto influences, are arising in ways that are not known until we see them. Yet the causes of that dark water, what is hidden within, were laid there long ago. So dark water also mirrors the open sky. So during this lunar cycle of the dark waters tiger, we have the opportunity to recognize what's been outgrown. So it also relates to the astrology of different cultures. So Pluto reveals the dark secrets of what is not acceptable, and Neptune reveals the habitual concepts being transformed. So as we dive into the year, we understand that deep in that dark water are clear springs of wisdom arising, and it's for us to honor what is arising and to confirm our choice to speak in the voice of invitation and to walk on the path towards realization, knowing that the wisdom seed is within. We plant seeds of good cause. So dark waters are a mirror. And the tiger is very energetic. The tiger people born in the year of the tiger are independent and strong, or people born in the hour of the tiger have similar characteristics, and also fierce. So there's a certain ferocity about this year. When the opportunity arises, don't wait, just be present and move with it. Those are some words about the year of the tiger. And there are people who are geomancers, that is, they study earth and sky, who have more deep explanations about the energy of the tiger, because in the year of the tiger, other important stars or planets and elements move through our lives, and so we learn to care for our lives in a certain way, maybe even changing our bedrooms or changing where we sit to do our everyday work. So you can further explore that knowledge of the changing cycles of the year of the dark water tiger by visiting a site called geomancy.net. They're in China, or Hong Kong rather, and it's an old site, yet the information is quite clear. Geomancy.net, yes, it's written there for you. So those are a few words about the year of tiger. Courage, ferocity, transmutation of what was hidden, and awakening to the choice to leap forward.
Thank you, Venerable. Adrian has a question here. Adrian?
Yes. Hello. Thank you so
So,
much. I just read about you in a book called Profiles in Wisdom, and then I looked it up and I found this talk, and it turns out there's some connection. I just wanted to say hello from the community of Maestro Domingo Diaz Porta
oh
and
yes.
Maestro Manuel Rufino. Thank you for what you're doing. I study sound and consciousness and music. I do work with that in many ways, and so I'm really interested in your perspective. And one of the things that comes up for me is about silence and the relationship between sound and silence. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, is listening, is it a means of entering silence that we eventually find some kind of complete silence or stillness? Or what happens when we listen that we connect with sound?
When we listen, we are reverberating with the message of the sound. We are recognizing our interrelationship with the sounds. Early in the morning before the sun arises, you can hear the sounds of your organ systems. Listening reveals the part we play in the dance of life, and also the messages of possible futures are revealed in the sounds that we hear. Settling into the silence is to meditate without conception, to be present, beginning with the sound of the breath, and then no observer, just being. Also, listening, we understand how messages are conveyed. So, when we make a sacred fire, often I can hear the voices of elders who visited that fire in the past. And even now at the fireplace, I can hear visitors who have come to meet with me in the past who keep sacred fires. So, are we listening to something outside? We are listening to the rivers of communion within. This is the experience that I have noted. Also, the mountains speak, the waters speak. So just before the sun rises, the ground roars here, and the mountain roars, and the sound tells what is happening in other parts of the earth. So some mornings it roars so loudly the dog barks at the floor, and then we find out later, oh, there's been a large movement of the earth and some part of the earth. So when you look beyond the horizon, we are still connected through the pulse beat of the earth, the Schumann resonance frequency. It is supporting our heart's resonance, and it is also stabilizing the cloak of life, and the energy of love is conveyed through the lightning strikes that remind us that in any moment we can and are inspired. Yes, I deeply appreciate Maestro Domingo de Portes, and do miss the times we would all meet together and still hear the echoes of his words and dance in the arbor here in Vermont. So in this way we see we are all connected.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Margaret has a question.
Hi, Venerable. Thank you so
Hello.
much. Thank you for your wisdom. I was wondering if you could speak more about the importance of being born in this time of purification.
Yeah, we chose to come at this time. In many ways, we came from our Star World homes to be on Earth at this time. As the Earth expands, the wisdom of our galaxy expands into a bubble of deeper awareness, like we are moving through the keys. So, where we were once in the key of D, we are moving to the key of A. What does that mean? It means that we recognize the tonic, the tone that initiated the dance and the song, is revealing ever more potential arising, and that we as explorers are weaving those dreams together as a field through which many may see the possibility that, oh, these things we may generate, these things we may accomplish, that all may recall their natural state is luminosity. Like bubbles when pouring water. So pouring the water, some small bubbles arise, and those bubbles have another another key of the water that is being poured. Some people call this inclusion water. It's a fourth state of water. And so as we recognize the different states, overtones of the elements, it is becoming more clear that we are generating what we see. And do we choose to believe in only the physical view? Well, we know there is more to life than that, and many of us have experienced the power of prayerful health restored, or joy restored, or prayer answered. So we chose to come at this time. On earth, many of the people who are conveying the song of jubilation may have been here before during the times of Atlantis and Lemuria. Why come again? Some have chosen to reclaim the sacred power of the clarity of crystal light. Others have come to restore the harmony that may have been distorted by the illusion of dominion over. Some have come from other constellations. Why? Because we're all tracing our roots to that great source of life, and remembering that we chose to explore the potential and share the wisdom learned. So yeah, we chose to come here now, and I'm grateful for all of you who understand that and are willing to plant seeds of good cause. Another question?
Does anybody have a question? You can even just wave like this if I can see you. Ruby? No? Ted?
Venerable.
Hello, Ted.
I wanted to, when you mentioned the whales, the trees having a relationship with the sound of the whales, for some reason lately, I keep imagining or sensing, or I don't know what it is, the idea of this horrible like boat sounds and terrible sounds that whales have to kind of have as part of their environment now, and it probably wasn't like that in the past. And I just feel kind of like we're ruining their lives, and there's a sense of wishing that there was some way to transform that feeling and transform what's happening with that. So I just want to bring that up to you.
It is true, and there are many groups in the Pacific who are reminding large ships that of the impact of their sounding equipment. And the whales dive more deeply to avoid the distorted sound. And our response to their cries helps ameliorate and retune those waves that are emitted. So when considering the sound of the whales, I also consider the transformation of what is discordant into the realization of what is harmonious, and healthy.
So imagining it resolving, kind of like in music, is that what you're saying?
Yes, I don't imagine it, I experience it.
Okay.
I feel it in my bones, I feel it in my body. Oh, that tone is resolving into its healthy or its natural harmonic.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mo, you have a question?
Yes, please. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Could you speak a little bit more about, you mentioned star spirals, stardust, stars, constellation, the whole sense of being the intergalactic and interdimensionality of everything. I just wanted you to just, if you would, just share a little bit more about that, please.
Yes, as human beings, we are part of a vast and wondrous field of potential. And when you think about forms arising from empty space, there is the appearance of sound light, and this sound light then precipitates around it different potentials, which we see as helium, hydrogen, and so on. And so, in that way, when we examine the atmosphere we live in and we examine the chemistry of our own blood, we see how we are still supported by the energy of the stars. The concept of different beings originating as explorers, where we began to put on the cloak of an individual form, beginning in different star systems, is how life appears. And as these different star systems coalesce through spiraling energies, these spiraling energies also became the wave of light, of form, and the chemical composition of what is what we call physical realms. So our galaxy first arose as dust. That dust arose from gas. That gas arose from space. And the light sound of our exploration continues. So the first place in which we began the concept of cohesive mind and observer, that is what you can say is your star world home. And so at this time, people from different galaxies are living on Earth, and also beings of different galaxies are communicating with Earth. They were called because of a certain discordant sound that was emitted with atomic bomb testing, and they would have been present anyway because we all promised we would share what we learned in this putting on the robe of exploration. So I'm saying that we are all explorers and that we are not separate from the field, that for a moment we wear the cloak that appears as you and I, and we are still united in that field of natural awareness. Is clear?
Yes, I love the truth of that sense of we're all coming from different places, different stars. We all have different paths. We all have different skills and abilities and things that we are remembering and that we want to share. It really makes more sense to me, just that spaciousness and expansiveness of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Venerable Felix said in the chat, I like you talking about the fourth state of water, and maybe was looking for a little more.
Yes, actually it is something I'm still learning. So old people talk about the importance of how you pour water. So in some of our ceremonies, water is poured over hot stones, and the exaltation of that water as steam is considered a gateway into another realm of seeing that reveals more our natural wisdom and it also purifies. So that's where the first learning about inclusion water begins. Now it is understood that when water is poured, that as it breaks the surface tension, water rises, that water has different properties. And so this is something that you can research, I think, on the internet. There's a scientist in Ontario who caught my attention. I think it was about 4 years ago. He did a presentation about inclusion water as a fourth state of water. And soon people will recognize yet a fifth state of water, matter, that is similar to the spiraling energy overtones of potential that give rise to a photon. So I'm also studying these things. I'm a curious grandmother. So I invite you to join in this exploration.
Thank you, Venerable. We're just about at our time here. And so I'd like to make an announcement about your year-long course. It's entitled Harmonies, Revealing the Natural State of Wisdom. It's a year-long exploration of sacred geometry and sound. It's once per month on the third Tuesday of each month, beginning Tuesday, February 15th. So that's coming right up a week from next Tuesday. And every class will have the video recording, audio recording, and the transcript. They're beautiful transcripts. So you can have all of these things for your personal wisdom library. And if you can't attend at the time of class, you can review it later. And it's such a wonderful opportunity to be able to ask venerable questions and to be in this practice of wisdom unfolding.
I salute the light and wisdom in each of you, and it is indeed flourishing and growing. May we continue to plant seeds of good cause for the benefit of all. Wado.